Hello, my name is HAPruitt and I'm the author of Anelthalien. And in this video, I'm going to do a book review. And before I do the book review, not of Anelthalien, before I do the book review, I want to say it is so important to review books. And so if you read a book, please do review it. Whether it's Anelthalien, whether it's another book, review the book. Let other people know why they should read it or why they shouldn't read it. Because that helps authors so very much, and it helps potential buyers to know what they should read. And so my book review is going to be about Discovering God's Calling by Philip Wilder. It's a nonfiction book. It's about discovering God's calling for your life, and it talks about how God has a general purpose and a specific purpose for each life. It talks about how to think about what God may have for your life. And then it gives encouragement of how to go about following this calling that God has for you. The patience you'll need, the timing, how you've got to wait on God's timing, just a bunch of different things about what is necessary in order to follow God in your life. The main point of the book, I think, is that whatever God has you do, it's going to be glorifying to God. And so it's necessary and it's good to do what He has for you to do rather than to do what you think you want to do. And I like that it was, well, first I'll say what I liked about the book. What I really liked was the personal examples that Philip Wilder used to illustrate what it means to follow God and what it may mean giving up, what it may mean going after. I liked his personal examples. Those were really good. I liked the last part of the book, maybe the last third or fourth of the book, where he gave tips about how to keep going in the calling God has for you. Because I know that God has called me to be this writer and a pastor's wife and things, and so I'm pretty solid in what God has called me to do right now. But even if you already know what God has called you to do, part of his book really helps to encourage you to keep going when it gets hard, because it does get hard. And so I really appreciated that part of his book. The aspects of the book that I wish were a little different, in the beginning, you've got to read the book as a whole, because in the beginning, it kind of sounds like you need to figure out what you're going to do to follow God. But if you read the whole book, you understand that you need to follow what God wants you to do. And so that becomes clear with the whole book. Also, the beginning was starts off with the basic information, the things that almost everything has. And so if you get to the first chapters and you're like, I've read this before, don't stop. Keep reading, because it gets deeper, it gets more unique and more special the further you go in. And so don't just stop at the first sentence because you're like, I've read this sentence before in other books. Keep going. The book is a good book. I do recommend it. I would give it 4 stars because as a whole, it really talks about how your life is about glorifying God. That's what you are put on earth here for. And you need to do what God wants you to do and the timing He wants you to do it to honor Him and to have a purposeful life. And so I recommend reading Discovering God's Calling. It's a good book, and it's especially a good resource for maybe teenagers, maybe people who are just new Christians trying to figure out what to do with their lives now as a follower of Christ. And so especially if you fit into that category, read it. But also, like I said, if you know what God's called you to do, if you're kind of solid in that understanding, it's also a good resource to show you that you got to keep going, and it's going to get better. And what success is I really like how he talks about how success is not doing well in what God has called you to do. It's just doing what God called you to do. Whether or not you succeed or fail by the world's standards, if you're doing what God called you to do, you're succeeding in life and you're having that purposeful life. You can find Discovering God's Calling on Amazon, and you can find more about Philip Wilder at his website, philipwilder.com. If you have read either of these books, please let me know in the comments and let me know what you think about these books. And also make sure to review them on Amazon. That helps so much. So, please read his book, and if you also read Anelthalien or any other book, do review books. So, thank you for watching. Bye. Hi, if you want to know more about Anelthalien, please follow me on Instagram, check out my Facebook page, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, or visit my website at HAPruitt.com. Thanks for watching!